Stax is going to close it with a triple, and DRX are on the board.
They are around, they should have won, absolutely, but really, for FPX, hanging their heads low with the amount of damage that I think they wanted to get out of that round, not really meeting. And then you see, coming into this one, once you get out of the replay, it's a little bit shaky for FPX still. They can't even afford full shields on half the team.
I'm more interested by the fact that Xiao is on the operator over Ardis.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Xiao 7-1 right now, though. Feeling it, feeling the flow, but Ardis close to tour de force as well, so you could see the argument either way. He's playing over towards the halls. Maybe it's a positional thing, having that ranged angle at the start, now moving to mid, and here's a duel for him. A few opportunities, he's blocked out, but the timing is perfect.
Well, RB can only kill players he can see. It's not the same case for Xiao, but Marco very quick on the trade back onto Angel, and the timing of the push there was sublime. Nice flashback, but there's no way out of here for Zipan. He's got to try and move forward. Low on HP, has a little bit of support. Again, the pop flash is just sublime from Stax. Every single time the other player is screwed. Cider trading back once again, low stacks. Zest just trying to hold the cross, it's not expected. A freebie kill, and Xiao now left with an operator, 56 HP. 2 players to find. I don't think he spotted him, but he's going to wait on the other side to try and get that kill off. Be able to hide, but he's now been spotted.
That's unfortunate. I think Xiao's wanting to bring that up through to the next round at a certain point, but Stax won't even let him get out of the site. An opt to be retrieved if they wanted. They do not. But the pace they've been taking, I am not surprised in the slightest. I mean, poor RB hasn't been having the easiest of times. But considering the amount of BS plays he's able to get away with, I'm not going to be crying for him anytime soon. That was just gorgeous on the way back through. We've seen some flash attempts on the other side, but nothing quite matching up to what... what you had sort of theorized would come through on Stax. Said you were a big fan of this guy, and he has been dominating in these duels. Towards the later portions, like the retakes and stuff, he's shutting them down.
The last event where we casted him, he 1v5'd on Bind. Probably one of the plays of the tournament on Sky, so I don't think it's anything crazy. I think most people probably enjoy watching him in this agent, but I also just love the timing of their pushes through, like through the screen. It just both players. There's no way you get 2 kills there because of how perfect they timed it, and that's the thing with DRX. That's what they do probably better than anyone. It's just having the synergy within their team.
Saw it in the last play there, yeah. Exactly like the off angle that was held from Khan. Angel down. Just pistols in this round, so there's not too much hope for FPX realistically. But they are starting to gravitate towards B, and look, it's the right call. DRX, slowly but surely moving into the same side. As I say that, looks like the plans have changed here for the defense. They've left the side.
Dicey round from DRX, a costly one, but they do have the credits to back it up.
55 HP between those 2 players in the end. It came very close, but in the end, DRX are taking the victory. Double op indeed. Yeah, Ardis and Xiao pulling out light shields and an operator. I guess not going to be too happy about the fact that we said that tour de force was close to being online a little while ago, and it's still just 1 away. In fact, most of the ultis over on that defensive side are in that boat. DRX, though, not going to have trouble because they've got their own tour de force if they end up needing it. Still, though, you don't often expect to run into that double op, especially not this early on. And I don't expect to see Angel pushing when you've got the double op.
I don't really... we've seen quite a few plays from him so far this tournament, which I failed to see the logic of. Just an unnecessary risk in a round that's critical to them. Like, you've got the double operator. You're the player with pretty much all, other than, of course, Zipan, the information finding utility. Like, you've switched away from that agent that basically benefited those sort of moves. And, yeah, a free kill. DRX will take that all day long.
Yeah, I'm not sure what FPX were reading into on that push, but the info is certainly not correct. DRX will group up on A. They've had a lot of success in these pushes before. It's also a split this time around, so Artis not going to be able to just hold the choke point. Instead, he's going to have to take on some players coming from the doors, and they're already up close. Good spray from Zipan, and a flash through. The player's already made it to the left. He's heard him. Good pop flash around again. It hasn't caught him. The plant coming in, and Mako takes advantage of the timing to eliminate Zipan and leave this into a bit of an awkward spot. The op on the retake, certainly not ideal.
This position. Way back around to yellow. They might not expect him to be in this spot. It's such a nasty position to be playing from, and it's a surprise! He goes through right at the last second! A triple for Marco. Zest there to put the final player in the grave. And DRX once again lose the first 2 rounds and then start streaking it back on the attack.
Yeah, it really is a case that if you look at this map and some of the previous and think if DRX take the pistol, it becomes a very, very different game. FPX with a timeout, again, not... I didn't catch it. I didn't hear the voice line pop out and certainly didn't see any impact from it. A strange one, and one that certainly could have some ripple effects in the coming round. They would love to have a tour de force in this one, I'm sure. At least the Blade Storm is there, but
yeah, they got Viper's Pit as well, but the thing is you just look at the ults on the other side, and that's where things get so much more terrifying. Stax has been fragging, he's close to even getting those Seekers online. And again, when you Viper's Pit versus Seekers, it gives you so much of the information to clear that player out, and then you even have a Hunter's Fury if you really wanted to dedicate more to it, or you could even counter Viper's Pit. So I feel like there's so much currently available for DRX. I don't think they've had to use too many ults because a lot of the time their players been catching the aggression but also just taking mid control and other aspects of the map for free. Like the amount of time we've now seen them dominate mid, either split in towards B or split in towards A, and it means that there can't be any real rotations, any information play out of the other side. And it doesn't help that a lot of your information comes from Fade, who's dead 3 seconds into the round.
Well, exactly. A peculiar start to the previous. This time around, Blade Storm up close on Xiao. He's already heard a player dash into the site, and he's let him go right by. Now turning around, but the right click doesn't land. Only a few knives on, leaving RB with 50. And that means he's going to go swinging into the rest of the team, because he's RB.
Ardis. Core town. And in the afterplant now, I think a lot of the danger diminishes from this round. Snakebite will at least force Buzz back, but it doesn't really matter. They've got such strong afterplant positions. RB still holding onto that control, has been healed up. The Mart side are not expecting the swing. You always have to when it's RB on the other side. Squeaky clean from then onwards from the side of DRX. Finance is truly booming, and I think they have every single ultimate online now.
I'll tell you the big difference between these teams, at least on what I'm seeing right now and what I can get behind and wrap my head around, let's say, is from DRX, it seems like every action is meticulous. It's planned. It has an intention behind it. If you paused the VOD and said, why did you do that in that exact moment? Oh, there's a reason I stepped left. There's a reason I was stood there. There's always something behind it. And there's always another player as well. Like, it's part of the game plan. It's not just like, you know, I stood here to get a kill. Yeah. But over on the FPX side, there are mistakes being made, and they are exploited almost every single time. And if you're going to beat DRX, you can't hope for them to make mistakes, because based on what we're seeing right now, this is one of the most polished teams that we have got on the international scene. Seekers have given them so much space here, so that plant is again for free. And any damage done just healed right back up.
Yeah, they did take quite a bit of damage on the way through, but it doesn't really become too relevant. We're going to see the Nightfall thrown in. And actually, Blade Storm popped on the other side. A quick trade of utility, which does give at least one back. But Buzz swinging and then straight into the Viper's Pit. Solid flash out of Zipan, though. It is going to give them some space back in, and the only man left is Marco. The man you'd want in this scenario. Past him! He's going to be able to get one for free, trying to put the Snakebite onto the spike. But there is plenty of time remaining.
That one scared me a little bit.
He could have got 2 there easily.
So easily. And of course, he wasn't ready for that. How could you be? It was as much a surprise to him as it was to you and me. But okay, the round found for FPX. And the real problem is, you know, we've seen it in the previous map. Win a pistol, follow up, and then fall off with the exception of a few straggler rounds here and there. That can't be what this is. But to be honest, there was a lot that they were up against there. After losing the site and having to play the full retake, your Nightmare going through, but Buzz still had the angle, so it wasn't like there was a ton of misinformation. He even got a pick. Stacks had found another before RB went down. So things are really looking their way with a Viper's Pit post plant. It's an impressive retake out of FPX. Again, it comes back to, is it going to be something they can replicate? And I don't quite have the answer for you this time around. Maybe DRX do, as they come into this attack side with a different strategy, moving in through middle, looking for some elbow control, and really trying to find some space for Buzz on this tour de force to land some shots.
But yeah, they've been doing well to have these splits in majority of rounds, and I don't think there's been much to really fight this back. Like, the operator of Xiao in a couple of rounds has tried to deny them this space, but I think that's an avenue of the map that has just been a failure, and Artist, well, tries to get a little bit cheeky around mid. I don't even think they expected them to be that far forward, and every single place is being watched by DRX. Cider at the back of the site needs a miracle. Angel swing gets nothing, and it is a Prime Gaming Flawless straight back, a blip on the radar for DRX as they are dominating this map.
Oh man, it really is. Every round I come into it thinking, okay, let's just keep an eye on sort of my theory of it, of DRX being so streamlined. And that last fight that they take, there's a snake bite on the guy's feet. It's like there's never just a duel that's a duel. A 5v1, and there's still two guys peeking him and a snake bite on him. And I think they were trying to get a shock dart if they still had any left from main. There's just, like, you come into a lot of games and you'll see players win individual fights. And maybe FPX could. Maybe there's a world where they do come in and win the individual duels, but they're not being offered up. There's never an individual duel. It's 2, 3 guys, or one guy with 5 players utility behind him. Or just RB with a frenzy. Very slow round out of DRX this time. We saw them go up through mid, up through elbow, but they're up against pistols this time, and they don't want to take any aggressive map control, really. Grouped up as 4 on A, passively watching B push, and then that will be rotated around for mid. He dashes either side there, things can get a little bit risky, and Xiao's able to pick up one through the smoke. So it's not a bad start with the pistols, but it's the follow-up, man. It's like as soon as you get that one kill, you win your 1v1, then the 3 others come through. Mako able to quickly cover and eliminate Artist. Maybe there's a world where Cider gets in there, Viper's Pit, diffuses, I don't know.
No.
Pretty confident.
He's had it for a while. The problem is just finding a place actually worth using it. It just hasn't really been there, and I think he's been completely overwhelmed at trying to play that B-side. That is the problem with this map in general for FPX right now is, as said, Saigetsu is their best player on this map. No matter who you tried to replace him with for this game, it was never going to be anywhere near as good, and they needed to try and bolster up elsewhere. That's why I think they brought in Xiao on this jet to try and give them extra opportunities to take space, because the other composition was so reliant on everything being perfect. It is far from that at the moment.
And I mean, then you've got all those things for FPX, all those excuses in the background, and then DRX coming through with like some god tier performances. Mako in that replay, he spray transfer and tracked the jet. It was updrafting in the air. Like, it's not an easy thing to do on that range with a Phantom as well, but DRX just entering another level of Valorant from what we're seeing thus far. It's 7-3. That's a pistol, second round, and then a straggler for FPX. They really have had no legs to stand on this Breeze defense thus far. Could just as easily be a 10-0 we're looking at.
Yeah, no, it really
wouldn't
could
have to change that much.
You've had a few plays out from Xiao that have definitely helped them out. The pistol round, the 4K he got in round number 2. That was the thing. It even looked dangerous in the second round. And then obviously Marco with an opportunity to almost clutch out a 1v3 in that Viper's Pit. Those are the only rounds that have gone in the other direction. It's going to be difficult to turn this one around. Again, I always have faith more so in FPX's attack side. Same for DRX, really. I think the setups are a lot easier. The worry I have right now is they need to actually give themselves a buffer, give themselves a backboard for this map, because I think if DRX go in 9-3, eventually they're going to get things over the line.
It does feel inevitable at that point, not even for DRX, for any team. The 9-3s are hard to come back from when it's such an evenly matched game. And we got RB way down on mid looking to swing out. Artist is hoping he does.
double op back again. I think it was one of the avenues that could have worked. We'd never really know because Angel died so fast in the one round they've had it, and then the economy just didn't really allow for them to go for this again. But utility, that's all it's taken, a single flash, and it's completely opened up middle for them again. That is, as said, it's been a real problem for FPX just trying to have any control over the side of the map, and it's because of the amount of utility that's currently being utilized off that Sky Sova combo. Xiao looking like he might be given a duel, but again, Seekers is going to give them that extra info they need.
DRX just have such an intimate understanding of how information works in a game like this. Xiao already on the site, isolated thanks to that fake that was sold out, and he will be dealt with. No support, no trades, as he was the lone defender. The Seekers causing the Viper's Pit to be used on B as well. FPX gambled on B, they put everything they had into it. They thought, okay, DRX, they've always blitzed in, they've always surprised us. And now DRX fake, another element of conditioning out of this Korean team as they sit in a 5v4.
They've still got utility in their back pocket as well. They've taken this site so clean. Nice work from Zipan though. At least even things up a little bit, but you can see the snake bite. It's about to be thrown in, but the null command is denied. At least gives them something here. Down goes Zipan, but the null command is still standing. The problem is they need to get someone onto that diffuser. An Angel, well, he might just have to leave the man behind, try and save his gun, try and bring something into the next round. The Zipan will go down with the ship, and DRX will take their 8th.
An incredibly impressive game. I really just think that DRX's understanding of the transactional nature of utility usage for map control, they take it to just a whole nother level. That flash that came in on elbow gets them the info the player's there, sure. They hear the teleport, and it pushes FPX to this insane level of discomfort, where previously they had, if you were to imagine the sight lines that they had with that mid control, they had most of the map covered. And with one flash, they go back to the back of B, they're sectioned off, and then the Seekers come, and that, because they don't have the information, they don't have the control, they're like, Viper's Pit, everybody come, they're going B! Yeah. And then A site's easy.
Well, you can even see Xiao was out of position beginning his rotate. And then he just gets isolated trying to run back in. They manage to cross to the site before he can stop them. So it's an information game that DRX are winning hands down.
And look at that round on its own. You say, FPX, that was so stupid. Why are you rotating like that? Why are you getting faked by one player? But the reality is that's how DRX have conditioned them. It's how they've been playing so far. Great opening for Xiao, but the return is there. Always the problem.
Already. Drone. Not actually going to spot out Xiao. They knew roughly where he was. Prowler out from Angel, but all they can really utilize for is to slow them down. Again, he's going to get isolated, pop flash through. You could just see Xiao trying, hoping that nobody pushes it on the other side. In the meantime, though, Artis has at least been able to drop the spike for a second.
They've heard two of these players now. You know, or Xiao and Artis, our side, are unaccounted for, so the flank still has to be watched. With Artis closing in, if this Tour de Force can find that 1v1, it could be the turning point of the round. They've got main sectioned off. They just need to win sight. But Buzz holds strong, and Zest steps out from the Viper's wall to grab himself a little bit of supporting frag. 9-3. For a pistol round win from FPX, Tom, this should never have been a scoreline we ended up at.
That's the thing, they've been so incredibly good in those pistol rounds, but DRX in the buys, in these executions, have been truly superb. Again, we sit 9-3 with DRX in the lead. Does the desk have any hope this time around?
Great question, Tom. Great question. Do you guys have any hope this time around?
Hang on, no. Don't let her do that. She got asked the question, the hard question, and she doesn't have to answer it.
That's true.
Yinsu, do you have any hope?
I would love to talk about the team comms actually myself, because I think that's what the people need to hear. Obviously, we spoke a little bit about the fact that they both flip-flopped with the coming in with a newer team comm, leaning into the meta, but not fully. What do you make of what's happened so far? Especially, I know Jess, you wanted to focus on Stax.
I mean, Stax has been the guy we spoke about in Fracture of being able to flash and assist his team on the KO. He's come out. He's not running the KO. Of course, on this map, they've changed it over to the Jet instead compositionally. That is the first change we've seen in a while from DRX, but he's come in and his reactive flashes for himself have been unreal. It's not so much about assisting his team with those flashes, but his reactiveness, especially with his second Hawk, has been unreal. This site is where he does most of his damage, and the return on investment is crazy. Mind you, though, DRX haven't lost Breeze since Champions. That's the last 10 times they've played Breeze. So if you're going to go up against a team on the decided map, on a map that they're very good at, yeah, you expect crisp, clean plays like this.
I also think it's the comfort zone that he's in right now, especially if you look over and see Zipan. Zipan has never really found that stride in the initiator role. And Doug, if this continues, and there are not many rounds left that DRX need to win, it's not going to look great for FPX.
No, it doesn't look good at all. I think Stax has had himself an outrageous performance. You go back to the conversation we were having at the beginning of the tournament round. Is Stax the best initiator? BCJ, all this stuff. Like, I mean, Stax is putting up one heck of a series, right? He's doing exceptionally well. We were worried about, oh, RB, Jet, how's he going to do? Blah, blah, blah. Forget it, throw it out the window. It's been the supporting cast. It's been Buzz. It's been Stax.
Oh.
They look
Buzz,
really
right?
good.
I mean, Buzz on Chamber, we brought him up the pre-show, day number 1. The reason we put him beside Durka, the likes of Ye and everything, the man just gets his job done with Chamber. He just knows. He knows what he needs to get done, and we don't even have to bring him up because we just know he's going to do it.
Yeah, and again, a comfort pick, right? Buzz can play Chamber in his sleep, and that's what's happening right now on the side of DRX.
On the side of FPX, though, I think this is the first time we've seen, the Cider individually has not performed well at all. I think he's like 1 in 12, 1 in 13, something like that.
It's rough.
And this feels like the first time that's really reared its head.
Well, we talk about players on the side of FPX that can carry. There's a few of them. They just need to turn up now. Mitch and Tom, let's see if they can.
Quite a big request, Tom, after what we've just seen out of DRX. But if anyone's going to do it on the attack side, it's FPX. Starting it out here with 3 rounds, I think it's fair to say they need this pistol. Spreading out into a default. But DRX, well, they're not finished attacking. Going right on up into the halls. I was listening to see if Buzz could hear any of those steps, but he didn't.
Yeah, their B-site setup looks much more reliant on delay, whereas their A site much more about aggression and hitting those early shots. Angel's going to throw in a little bit of utility, the Haunt, to try and give him space. He's gone in. The rest of the team waited behind. They got completely sectioned off by the snakebite combo. And while that has gone horrifically for FPX.
I think Xiao dashed into that bullet. I'm not even sure it was intended for him. That is ridiculous. The aggression early from Buzz now just grants them a ton of control. They know that they've got A completely locked off. That spike might not be in their hands, but there's not many places that FPX can take it at this point. Going back is... And actually, they triple-checked that A site was cleared just now.
Spike is solo
30
mid.
seconds left.
It seems so disjointed at the moment from FPX. They got 25 seconds to try and make a move. Artis is stuck behind the poison orb. And the rest of the players are just hoping they can get something. Mid-sider, though, does manage to get himself at least a kill. The time, though, is going to be their main enemy at this point. They need to get some of these kills. A dink connected, but it's not going to drop anybody. Then it's left all onto Artis. Spike on the floor, it's over. It's already done.
Double digits for DRX as they step even closer to this victory. They might have lost a map after so long in this stage. But it doesn't look like they're willing to give up a series just yet, Tom. And this team, I said it to you earlier, Masters events, they've always won the upper bracket matches. They've always won the winner's match, went through to playoffs that way, clean as can be. And obviously stumbled a little bit when it came to Champions. It was Fnatic who took them down that time and stopped their winning streak in upper bracket matches. But this time around, it looks like they're going to keep that 3 for 3 in International Masters events.
Yeah, I don't really see a way back into this at this point for FPX. It's looked disjointed, even that pistol round. One player through, the other tries to dash through a snakebite to join them. It's like more so based on these individual plays, and as they said, it was something they believed they could beat DRX or other teams within, but at the moment it is definitely not looking the case. Zest is going to kick things off with an opening kill onto Angel. But of course in this round, just hoping to try and get anything they can with the pistols.
As I was saying, you want to let that headhunter and some of those sheriffs try to take the points of contact. Artis Artis saw Mako a second ago. There's a connection at least and a wallbang to take him down. Pressure on RB. And that's when he delivers.
Okay.
With Zest down, he has no support. One kill, and that's all that there is. FPX, they've got the advantage and the plant now.
Xiao again. It seems to be the only rounds they're really winning so far in this series. They're coming down to Xiao. Even the map they won was a hard carry from him. He's brought them 3 kills. He's hurdled the footsteps as well. This aggressive position needs another one, and actually Stax steps up, leaving just side of left. He has decimated them on the way back through. A defusal will even get him even closer to having that Seekers online.
I know you could sit here and say what we said in the previous half, Tom, like, oh, that round, it should have been cleaner for DRX.
Yeah,
they're 11-3.
It don't matter.
Yeah, yes. Oh, they might lose their economy for a round or two. I don't quite care. FPX, it's such a long road ahead of them. In fact, they need to pave it with this kind of damage. Give themselves every opportunity. And although it's a 3v2 that, I think statistically, you're probably still looking at DRX to win that. It's gonna really put a frown on FPX. I mean, look at that. The pain you can see. You can sit there, oh, it's pistols, Tom, it's pistols, yeah, it's fine. But they don't feel that way right now.
That was the lifeline. If they managed to win that round, maybe there was some sort of way back. But they are 2 rounds away from heading into that decider game. They had an incredibly close matchup versus Xerxia last time, and if they're the ones to get back through, there is no guarantee that FPX make back out of this group. Especially as we know that Xerxia are probably one of the most adaptive teams. I really enjoyed watching them so far in this tournament, even with the loss. So, RB. Not many players going to be caught by a trap pushing down there. RB is one of the only ones, and he is going to die for it. At least catching an open up at Stax. That's actually Seekers online. So he's going to get a lot of information for free here, but the dash in the meantime is coming onto the A site. Marco might be able to get himself an SMG. A little bit of an upgrade. If he can get the kill onto Cider, that could be huge, but it seems like Cider might be about to big brain this. He's looking for the check. Oh, I thought for a second Marco had somehow got that with his spidey senses. Instead, now the round starts to fall apart.
He did connect some shots. I mean, Cider went down to 46. Zipan's on 50. This round could have flipped the other way. And for DRX, maybe it still will. Plenty of damage. Dealers left alive. A little whiff out of Buzz, though, confirms it. 3 kills for Cider in this round. Maybe that's going to put the wind in his sails. It does certainly get the Viper's Pit online.
Yeah, a little bit of a confidence boost for him. He's got more kills in that round than the entirety of the first half. And I will be honest, I said at the beginning of the map, the role he was sticking in for here is a role that I don't think anybody in the world could stick in for. Saigetsu is a huge piece of this puzzle lost. And also just being a solo Viper. Like, even when you look at, I think it was Enzo did that when he stood in. When he first stood in last time for Fnatic, he got battered. Yeah. Absolutely battered. But that's the thing. It's like when you actually have that as a role within a team, it's one thing. When you're just slotting in, it's completely different.
Yeah. I know, and we complimented Cider on his performance so far in this tournament.
Yeah.
DRX, though, they're bringing a whole nother level than, I think, honestly, what Cider's ever played against. It's probably the highest caliber opponent that he's had.
Yeah, he was on Alliance.
All right. All right, there was no need for that, Tom. There was no need for that at all. There's a peek out of Artis for 2, in fact. Solid. That's what we need now. RB coming up through mid's got a few players to deal with. Already found one. He suspects that there's one already snuck past. Xiao is expected and dealt with. Okay, 2v3, and somehow this is winnable again.
Oh no, it's starting to fall apart. We saw a lot of these rounds won by FPX in the past, but it seems like DRX are stealing this away. And more importantly, the spike is down. I don't know if he'll look in this direction. Oh, he's going to actually catch our Angel! RB's aggression has just stolen this round from under them. Their feet have been swept and he's ready, but Cider might be able to turn this once again. Another twist in the tail of this round as Marco makes his way. I don't think the spike has actually been spotted, but he's worried about it. I don't really blame him at this point. The thing is, though, this could actually give information over to the other side. It also takes away his poison orb. And the thing is, does he actually want to play within the Viper's Pit? No, he's going to go running through. Marco is waiting for him. And again, DRX, they just can't be conquered at this point, even losing as many opening jewels as they had. FPX are in the mud, in the dirt, and DRX are 1 round away from top 8.
Very similar to looking back at Fracture, where you say, okay, maybe they can pull this back, but it's got to be a flawless performance. And well, there's just too many factors.
So well.
Way too many factors working out for DRX. RB is having a field day. Single. Oh my god! So the trash talk's coming out and everything. FPX can't be feeling good right now. They've got to get 8 in a row. 3 of them have been spotted off the rip, and RB waiting, sitting with a Blade Storm in hand. He's caught one, and Zest has done the same. Advantage DRX, and match in series point.
Where Marco is. It's at the back of the site. Angel's just sprinting. Running all the way through, and he will be able to take him down. Had a bit of a rough map so far. It wouldn't be a bad time to step up. Zest still here, though. He actually got, I was about to say he could have killed the player on the Viper's Pit, but instead, eventually, FPX do close it. 7 in a row needed just to get to OT, but they've got the first.
And Sarder's got to be kicking himself. Last round decides not to use the pit, and the 1v1 gets wrecked. This time decides to pop it. Round ends before it's even fully bloomed. 7 more. A long, long road ahead of them, and the adaptations have been on point from DRX. I mean, these guys have controlled the game. They have come into so many rounds and being able to get out of it exactly what they wanted. It as if they had masterminded it themselves, laid out the chips, watched the dominoes fall. To imagine they don't win one of the next 7, Tom, it's unrealistic.
Well, they know that RB's getting a little cheeky around mid again. Because of that, they're going to pick up the pace. Pressure onto Stacks, and well, he's gone without a fight. Bear in mind, the weaponry in this round is weak from the side of DRX, but just how clean this is might give you a little bit of hope. That was fantastic. A Prime Gaming flawless from FPX, and that round over in a second.
Up against pistols, though. This is where the big difference comes in.
We've seen a lot of rounds lost to pistols in this game.
Yeah, like, it's my man with the double Z's, Buzz, on an operator now.
Yeah.
Turning point in the game last time, map point. This time around, I'm imagining, you know, the operator coming out is going to be a big difference for them again.
It is actually crazy just looking at Xiao's like KD with them only having 6 rounds. Like, it is a little bit ridiculous. He is 2 kills away from being the top fragger in the game.
It's not easy to have that kind of performance in a game you're losing this convincingly.
How many do you reckon he'd need for them to win? 40?
40 at this point, yeah.
But technically
35.
38.
If he can pull a Sugetsu and hit the 35, he's good. He's good. We just need another Sugetsu. But no, it's not. Said this first half out of DRX looked clean. They've just called a timeout.
Yeah.
Nothing terrifies me more. That score's not right. 12-6 FPX? They wish.
Who's in China? Guys, I know we're in Europe.
EMEA bias?
We can't do that.
They've just decided to swap the teams real quick. No. I don't like this result, so we're going to change it up. Korea looking absolutely untouchable right now. That opening game against Northampton, it was what it was. I didn't know how to rate that team, and I didn't want to draw too many conclusions. All we could say was DRX looked good, but how will they look against another top team? And sure, there are excuses there for FPX. There have been pitfalls, and there's a lot of things they have to deal with as a team that are completely out of their control. But even still, this performance so far, it is putting a lot of faith in my corner that DRX, that maybe Achilleos was right for once.
Oh no, but he didn't go ham this time. The one time he does, they're actually off the charts. So there you go. Buzz has been forced back. They're looking to try and split through mid quickly. Cider, even while tagged up, is going to be able to get one, but the trades are coming back thick and fast. Buzz already dropping one with the operator and getting Zipan back. Looks unlikely. Is he actually going to try and go for this res?
With 10
I
HP.
feel like it's impossible. He's going to use himself the Nightfall, maybe just getting the spike instead, but this is looking almost done. Just one man standing. Artist who was on that lurk. He's been spotted within middle. It was a fight. It was a back and forth in that first map, but ultimately the last 2 were decimation. DRX make their way through into that next stage of the tournament. The top 8 is where they live within almost every single event they play, and it's no surprise to see them there again.
3 out of 3 International Masters. They have pushed through that winner's bracket now. Found themselves in the playoffs without breaking too much of a sweat. And they've only lost that one map now across the last 26. I think they can be pretty content with their performance this stage. Regionally, they are the undisputed kings of Korea, and they're looking to take their international crown.
An impressive performance from them. The first map looking a little bit rough. I think ironically that was the one they actually chose. The fact is they left a couple within the pool that we were expecting FPX to perform on, and they got slammed. Their fracture attack side with RB at the helm was looking impressive. And then throughout this map, I think Stax is the main man you have to look towards. A superb performance from him, but it was the synergy that we love to see from this DRX side, and unfortunately for FPX, I think that was the pitfall. The fact that this team is so well drilled, such good synergy. If you're looking for gaps, if you're looking for slip-ups, this team doesn't have them. And when you're playing with a stand-in, sometimes that can be a problem.
Yeah, but it runs even deeper than that. Just on the DRX side, like, they played such clean Valorant. That 13-8 loss on map 1, like I said, coming out of that game, it felt like they should have been the victors there. They lost so many incredible clutches to Shao. And then you go 13-6, 13-6, back-to-back, taking their opponent's map pick and then taking Breeze, making it look like these are two different tiers of teams playing here. DRX are well and truly rising above the rest.
Yeah, and I think one of the main things we've talked about coming into this tournament is what are we going to get from RB? Is he going to be the player who does well in